little while. Maybe, oh maybe, we'll watch the sun go down. And maybe, oh maybe, we'll decide to stick around. And maybe we won't, and decide to take a walk. And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Welcome to Ponder While We Wander. We're two friends who happen to be therapists go on a walk as we discuss relationships, nature, and meet life in the moment. Each episode is grounded in some aspect of eco-psychology, but can take us anywhere as we ponder while we wander. And you're invited to come along.
And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Natasha.
Welcome back.
Yes, it's good to be with you again.
It's so good to be
on
with
yet
you
another
again.
brisk Pacific Northwest day. But it is sunny, which I'm grateful for.
It's so sunny. You're wearing sunglasses.
I am wearing sunglasses and a couple layers and a beanie, but yes, also sunglasses.
It's good times. All right, so we are here in, tell us where we are.
We are at North Beach in Port Townsend, Washington, and this is the ancestral and unceded territory of the S'Klallam people. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be going for a little walk today and talking about present, not perfect in the Polycrisis.
We sure are. And yes, this is a beautiful piece of land to be in relationship with right now. I'm very grateful. There's some wide open space here with a trail. There's an ocean lapping at the shore over there in the near distance.
Yeah, it's really a unique and beautiful spot because, yeah, we're walking on this trail in a pretty wide field, like you were saying, and on to the left is the ocean, and up ahead is a bunch of forested trees and
evergreens, and some of the stuff is starting to turn a little yellow, these fall colors, because it is fall right now.
Right. I'll be listening for all of the cute little birds that like to hang out in those wild rose bushes over there, and yeah.
It's a good reminder to look off far into the distance and remember that we are in this moment right now.
There's some deer coming out of the shrubbery over there.
Over there.
I see two walking out.
This way.
There's a seagull flying above. There are all kinds of things present and alive here.
Yes. So I guess we would start with this word polycrisis. I know that some people already know what that is, but I was introduced to the word a while back, and it made a difference in my life, and I can talk about that in a second. But polycrisis was first brought into conversation by some French philosophers, Edgar Morin and Anne Bridget Kern, in their book Homeland Earth, 1999. And what it takes into account is that there are a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, which are kind of happening all at once. We have some ecological crises, some political crises, some economic crises, and they're all kind of happening.
Sorry, I'm
dear.
distracted by this. I feel like he's looking at me.
They are. They're just coming right up here. Hello, beautiful dear. That one's really dark over there, too.
It is really dark.
So it is a term that I found actually to be really nice and helpful, because it addresses this kind of interdependence of all of these things that are happening, as well as understanding the feedback loops. Is that a That's a big bird up there.
That looks like a heron.
Of course it's a heron. Right. So we have all these things happening that could be considered crises, but then also they're feeding off of each other, they're impacting each other, they're changing the way each of them kind of interacts with the world. And yeah.
And we're a part of all of them.
We are a part of all of them.
Being in this system, in this world.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that a little bit about, okay, so how do we manage that? How do we stay with that? How do we mitigate it? How do we metabolize it? And we're looking at things of the effects of the industrial growth society and what happens to kind of all these systems. It's really talking about different systems that we are both a part of and being affected by. And looking at, is that sustainable? Some people believe that what we are experiencing right now with all these crises is that this is kind of the collapse of this industrial growth society where we're going to be able to like grow and grow and grow for ever and ever. And actually, this might be what Joanna Macy, who recently died this year in 2025, what she has been describing for a long time as the great turning toward perhaps a life-sustaining society instead.
Instead of just growth, grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what comes to mind, Amber, when we talk about, let's talk about the challenges to staying present in all of this.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, the way that you're framing it and defining it right now is really helpful. And but thinking about all the multiple layers that are happening and what some of our own like symptoms or emotions or sensations might come up when we're acknowledging and recognizing all of these big crises at hand. And I see a lot of this, or experience parts of this myself, but sometimes it can feel like overwhelm, or maybe feeling frozen, not sure what to do, how to have impact, sadness, fear, anger. A lot of times some avoidance of like, I'd rather not know, or I don't want to look at all those things. It's too much to take in. Some anxiety, confusion. So I think there's going to be a lot of like strong feelings and emotions, and also a lot of strong, physical sensations that come up when we start talking about this idea of polycrisis.
Yeah. We've talked about things before like grief and sadness and despair, and just kind of have a general hopelessness that comes over people. And even if we're not feeling that, being affected by it, being around what's going on in the world right now, sometimes you don't feel any of it, because there's a type of numbing out. And our first episode about, zoochosis, are we experiencing zoochosis, was addressing some of that stuff. Like maybe it feels like you're not super affected by it because we've been numbing out. We've been maybe doing other things to keep us separated from that, disconnected. And then when you check in with it, like all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, that's too much information, which is true, because we're at a time in human history where there's just so much more information coming at us on a daily basis than most humans in the past experienced in their lifetime. So
every second you can take in something new, and lots of images too that go with that weren't always so readily available. But I think when you're talking about this part where there can be like this numbing out response, right? When we do check back in, or if we do have that experience, I think it can also then sort of like re-trigger some things around our like safety and survival, or if we've had other past experiences that have felt really difficult or traumatic, I think it then can start to elicit some of those other body sensations and feelings that I was talking about from before, of the freeze or anxiety or fear or sadness.
I think when people come to us in our practice, sometimes they come with like this list of how they're responding. They think there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Yeah. I mean, you and I use this phrase a lot of like, you're having a normal reaction, right, to some abnormal circumstances, situations.
Absolutely.
So, no, I think all of the reactions and experiences that people are having are so normal and really appropriate. Like they make sense. I'm always curious about that with the clients that I work with. It's like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, I hear you. It's not necessarily anything wrong with you. This is a reaction to what's going on, and then what do we do with that?
Right.
Like, what do we do with that information, and how do we find ways to sort of flow between numbness and presence and kind of catch when we're in either state?
I think part of recognizing and calling it polycrisis to me was that it was something that helped kind of build an umbrella understanding over all these systems for me, instead of my attention bouncing from like one thing to another, to another, to another, which can be really, really overwhelming. To just recognize that these are all things that are happening, that are bumping up against each other, and that, in that process, we have the ability to kind of tune in to what is there. And we talked about balance. Like, sometimes people come in and say, like, if my life was just balanced, as if that's like a goal to get to, then...
Right, like a fixed state goal.
Like a fixed state goal. So being able to recognize that balance is actually dynamic, that balance is going to change. I like the analogy of riding a bike. When you're on a bicycle and you're riding it, you're shifting weight constantly, you're moving forward, but you're in constant movement and motion. And I think balance in our life is like that too. You get some information and maybe you have to lean in a different direction.
Yeah.
You get more information internally or externally about what's going on, and then you kind of shift and lean in another direction.
Yeah. I love that analogy that you use and that we've talked about. It's so helpful and really validating, I think, in terms of what our actual experience is with this idea of like finding balance, this catchphrase of finding balance. I like to think of it a lot as like we're flowing between states. Like, how are we kind of cultivating some flexibility and some acceptance to kind of flow between, or like, lean on our bicycle this way and that way, and so it helps us stay upright.
Yeah. Yep. And so we thought we would introduce something like a social, emotional, and spiritual first aid kit. Because when you go out into a place like this,
which, pause for a flock of geese, by the way. There's a whole flock of geese
that are on the ground
peacefully
eating little creatures and things in the grasses there, and then some kind of like woodworking thing going on, like a chipper in the background that you can hear.
The variables of wildscape.
So being able to help maybe navigate these times, which, it's less like problem solving, because these things are really big. These systems are really, really complex.
Right.
The part where we want to try and make them simple doesn't always work. And so we're not really in problem solving mode. That may not be helpful. Instead, we might be in predicament management. Yeah. So if we think about it like that, the pressure's a little bit off of us to solve all the problems.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to then how do we manage it? Do we need to walk this way to be out of the wind? Or
Yeah, I think so. Really stand this way, maybe.
should we head? Do you think we can head
into?
over? Okay.
Yeah, there's a trail into the forest.
Okay, let's go in the forest.
Yeah, into the trees, into the woods.
Into the woods we'll go. All right. What do you have for the social, emotional, and spiritual first aid kit?
Well,
What would you pack?
maybe just a couple of more, I don't know, caveats or frames to add of, even when we're doing this, I like to think of like, how are we bringing on this toolkit to really actually help us stay present? Not necessarily that we're trying to avoid or diminish any of the discomfort or maybe go towards this like problem solving, like I'm not going to feel this, but it's actually things that will support us in being able to stay present in our lives and in our community and in our larger world. And then, something so important to add to that is like, we don't have to do this alone. We have to do this in community. And maybe this is starting to kind of build into the toolkit that you were framing for us. But we can't do it alone, because then it starts to feel, at least for me, that maybe you're the only person noticing certain things or caring about certain things. And it's so important to remember that there are thousands of people caring, noticing, participating. So,
yeah, I think that's when people are talking about some of the protests and stuff going on and, feeling kind of defeated and helpless about that, about what's it really doing? It's not really changing any policies or doing this. And I think the biggest thing that is happening when we see people whose values align with us and who are caring about some of the same things that we do, it makes us feel not alone. And some of the mechanisms out there that are in place, they really do want us to feel scared, isolated, alone, shut down, without power.
Right.
And so anything we can do to remind people that they're not alone, that you're not alone. If you're bothered by this stuff, it means that you care. Right? You care about these things, and that it is okay to care, and your cares are held by other people. So that social piece of
social,
maybe checking in with, are you around people who have your same values right now? And if not, maybe looking for community around that. There are lots of groups that are forming or have been formed and been around. What do you see?
Sorry, that heron caught me. I don't know if that'll pick up on the sound, but it was squawking, making some loud noises.
And he's really flying over there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Beautiful. Is that a heron?
It's big like a heron.
It's big like a heron. Part of the nature community that we're a part of right now. So tapping in here.
Grove is this
little alder trees.
Yeah. Birch? Are they birch?
That's a good question.
I think another important thing to add to our first aid kit here is humor.
Oh yeah. Love it. Even a little dark humor sometimes is necessary.
Maybe a little dark humor, but definitely humor.
Definitely humor.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like that is one of the ways that we can flow between states too. Being able to have some humor, find things to laugh at. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to expand on that much more than that, but I think even watching some humorous movies or comedy shows Those are ways to kind of get that. But even just play with it. Play with what makes you laugh, what's funny.
I find that sometimes too, like when I'm outside, like watching the little birds like hop around, like they're they're so cute. They bring me so much joy, and it's fun to watch them just hop and dance and hide. And we were walking somewhere just yesterday, and there was a little brown, I don't know, wren or something. It was like hopping along and following us. Like it felt like it was joining us on our little journey. And I don't know, I find some humor in nature with that kind of, just the way that the animals move sometimes.
We've got some backyard raccoons right now that are, to me, they are hilarious. I know you don't appreciate them.
I'm working on my relationship with raccoons. It's complicated.
It's complicated. But I find it hilarious. Like there's this one raccoon that comes up, and we call him Skinny Tail because he does have a really skinny tail. And his thing is he likes to steal my shoes from the back porch. And I'm like, what the heck? All he does is like, he takes it from the porch and he puts it somewhere else in the yard. Like, okay.
He's playing hide and seek with you.
Yeah. I guess. But that's his thing.
That's his thing.
And I find it hilarious. So, yeah.
Yes.
We talked about creativity before too.
Ooh, hear that little one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but yeah, creativity. Even something simple in terms of creativity for me is I even love just coloring, like something that's like, kind of, what am I thinking? Like it's like rhythmic and
Zentangle kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't have to put a whole lot of energy and effort into, I'm working on my drawing skills, but so coloring, something simple and easy.
Yeah. We did a podcast already on creativity, so if you're in on this one but you haven't heard that one, go seek that one out. That's it's a good one.
Yeah. We've also sort of talked about what to sort of do with some of the somatic sensations that come up, and I think there can be a lot of resistance or worry or fear of like, oh, what if I really feel that thing that I'm noticing right below the surface, or that, that information that my body is giving me right now. And, it might sound a little counterintuitive that there really can be this shift that occurs when we kind of turn towards some of these sensations, even if it's just for small moments in time. And I like to do that in ways that are as neutral as possible. So kind of just observing and tracking and even using that type of observing and tracking language of like, oh, interesting.
I think that sometimes our perception of how it's going to feel is scarier than actually feeling the thing. And there's a level of, we call that distress tolerance. We build up our tolerance for distress. And, there's a certain level of this that is going to be naturally uncomfortable. But sometimes the signals in the body are that it is unsafe.
Right.
And so checking in, the noticing that you're talking about, helps us discern whether it's actually unsafe for us or if it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really important to say that. I'm glad you brought that part back in, because it doesn't always totally feel different in our body. So that being able to check in and discern what it is so helpful in how we move forward. And I think there's definitely practices that we can do on our own. That's also something people can get more support with through therapy, or learning how to sort of titrate that in different ways. But there's always access into just a quick check-in, like, how am I feeling? What am I noticing? What's going on for me right now?
A lot of people who have come into my practice or into my, can we go out this way? into my life have told me how much spending time in nature has been helpful for them. And, we've talked about, that before in some other episodes of what is it about nature that it is helpful. So let's say revisit that, but just knowing that our relationship with nature already exists. We are part of nature already. So feeling that connection to something bigger than ourselves and kind of getting out of our left brain kind of situation that we can get stuck in that fearful, a lot of times negativity bias about the future, like thinking about what could happen in terms of, the bad stuff, but connecting us. Look at this little path.
I know.
It's wonderful.
Little lagoon here.
See those geese over there that we passed?
A whole different angle to see them.
A whole different angle. Yes.
Yeah. And even just as we're walking and wandering and pondering and talking today, I'm being reminded of how vast our space is. So when we're thinking about even this shift in perspective when we go outside, it's hard to not even notice the shift just by looking up at the sky and seeing the vastness. I feel like it kind of helps us pull the lens back and be like, oh, right. So we can have different and wide ways to view things.
There's this other thing I wanted to bring in. We were out hiking yesterday, and your oldest kid was walking next to me while you were scrambling to catch the other one and make sure he was
parkour off of all the trees.
And I was walking next to her, and she was noticing this shift that was happening, and I call it nature time. It's like there's this thing that happens to our sense of time for me, and it's really obvious when I'm outside like this. I think there's an eagle over there that just flew there. So that shift in time. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. Shift in time, but then also tapping into that kind of deeper geological earth time. I think that is so important for us to remember that this is just a period of time. I do have a quote. And
love a quote.
I would love to read it too, if you don't mind. It's by Joanna Macy. And she says, being fully present to fear, to gratitude, to all that is, this is the practice of mutual belonging. As living members of the living body of Earth, we are grounded in that kind of belonging. Even when faced with cataclysmic changes, nothing can ever separate us from Earth. We are already home.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
Yeah.
She's got some good ones.
It's really beautiful. I love that. What a good summary in a lot of what we're talking about today too. But
I think the last little piece here is I think people always ask us, I want to do something.
Right.
And we talked about that is okay to do. If we can take care of ourselves, then we may have that energy to want to do something.
Right.
And I was thinking about a lot of times people come in and they're already doing something. And so connecting people to what is it that you already do that is helping in this polycrisis, these interlocking systems.
Right.
And the maybe not so helpful piece, or I don't know how to call it, but is to think about how all these crises are kind of interlocked together and they're all moving, and there's no sometimes there's no real pattern that we can see of what's going to happen next. So we kind of feel like we're always reacting. But the helpful thing about doing something, and maybe what people are calling pick a lane, pick something that you are already kind of passionate about, or that's where your that's where your values align, is that it is all interconnected.
Right.
And it is all bumping up against each other. So if you are putting some time and energy into this part of life, it is going to do something. You're already probably making changes that you just aren't really kind of tied into because it feels overwhelming.
Right.
And let's just say that it's always going to feel overwhelming like that,
Right.
especially if you're tenderhearted and you have these values and you really care about humans or the earth or humanity.
Agreed. And I think, to kind of like circle back to all the things that we were talking about throughout this podcast and the toolkit that you were introducing, the ways that we stay present and return to ourselves is going to help us remember and refine the lanes that we're already a part of and that we can tap right in because we already are. So another benefit for us finding ways to stay present. Not perfect in that. It doesn't have to be specific, but it helps us reconnect and remember.
I think that's the thing, is like people before they start, sometimes there's a level of perfectionism of like, if I can't see the end result, if I can't see that this is going to change the way things are going to go, I'm not even going to start. I don't even want to try. And I guess what we're asking people to do is don't let that stop you. Right? Just take the step and then take the next step and be present and tap back into your why. Know your why. Why are we doing this? Why are we taking this step? Why are we doing whatever it is that we do in the world? I heard so many beautiful stories, people writing poems and then sharing them, even if it's with one or two people, or writing groups that are forming, or people who just make phone calls, or donating to a cause, or if you've got some skills, some organization skills, and you want to go even deeper into this and you have the energy, you go for it. Or you're teaching people how to grow their garden.
Right. You're parenting and you're showing up for your kids, or you're supporting people that are on the front lines through any means of a warm meal, a cup of coffee, as we've talked about before, a warm beverage. Like there's all kinds of ways to tap into the unique things that you have to offer and the unique ways you're already contributing. So
do not underestimate even the smallest way that you might show up for somebody or an organization or a cause, even if it's the smallest, most insignificant thing that you can think of, that it's going to build, and it's okay for that to be there.
Our interconnectedness.
Yes, our interconnectedness.
It's lovely chatting with you today.
It's lovely chatting with you. Do you have a ponder point for us?
I do, and it's related to where we just were, but I'm really inviting everyone to kind of consider, like, where are you already plugged in? This last part we were just talking about, where are you already plugged in, and can we get curious about that? What is your lane that you already have?
I love that. That's a great place to start.
And what about you, Natasha? What ponder point might you have for today?
I would love people to take that idea of kind of that social, emotional, and spiritual first aid kit and just see what you would pack in there. I always love a good journal, like a new journal. I always think that somehow is going to magically make my life more together and aligned. Sometimes it does. But maybe even just starting a document or a piece of paper and just do a check-in, like where are your resources already, and where might you need some more resources for your first aid kit.
I love that. Yep.
All right, I think this is it for this topic for today. I'm sure we'll visit it again. next time will be our last episode of this first season. Oh my gosh.
Can't believe it.
And we will be talking, hopefully appropriately, of what a good goodbye is. We are not going to be gone forever. We already have the next season starting up, but we do feel like it's important to say goodbye to something before you say hello again. And so we will be talking with...
Yeah, one of our first guest speaker, Aaron Twitchell, is going to be joining us from the East Coast.
Yeah. So we'll do a little bit of a talk with him, and then we'll take some of the points from there and go on our natural walk and ponder while we wander after that, just the two of us. So we're going to try a new format. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm
Present,
looking
not
forward to it.
perfect.
Present, not perfect. First pancake season. I'm so excited.
Okay, well, until the next episode, wander well.